But we begin this hour with Israel's intensifying airstrikes on Gaza. Hamas claims the attacks have killed hundreds of people in the past 24 hours. The Israeli military says it hit several Hamas targets as it prepares to launch a potentially massive ground invasion. And in the West Bank, Palestinian officials say an Israeli drone strike killed at least 5 people. This after Israeli forces conducting a raid in the territory came under fire near the Jenin refugee camp.
For more on this now, we want to bring in CBS News foreign correspondent Ian Lee. He's following all of this from Tel Aviv. Ian, we're going to start with the West Bank. What can you tell us about the strikes there?
You know, this is an escalation that we've been seeing take place over the past couple of weeks where there have been attacks against what Israel says are militants planning terrorist attacks. We saw this strike today. Also, you have that other strike that happened earlier where a mosque was hit in an airstrike. And these really are unprecedented. You don't usually see this level of violence and level of military action in the West Bank. It just kind of underscores the tensions in this region as Israel continues to wage this war on Gaza.
Meanwhile, the Israeli military said that it struck military infrastructure in Syria in response to rocket attacks. Why is Israel attacking Syria?
You know, this is something we've been watching closely, and I can tell you from my years of reporting here, this is something that Israel is really worried about because Syria is home to a lot of militia groups that are backed by Iran, and these rocket attacks is something that Israel wants to kind of contain, and they did so by launching airstrikes into Syria, hitting Syrian military positions, according to the Syrian government, killing 8 soldiers. But what's unique about this is that this is the first time, or this is one of the rare times, where Israel admits that they carry out airstrikes in Syria. Usually they go after Iranian-backed groups in Syria or weapons, trying to get to Lebanon. But Israel is sending a message to Syria, to the region, that it is going to hit back if it's attacked by different rockets. But what Israel wants to do right now is keep the conflict contained to Gaza. It doesn't want to see a second front, whether that is with Hezbollah in Lebanon or other Syrian militia or other Iranian-backed Syrian militias in Syria.
Now, I want to ask you about something that happened yesterday at the UN. The Secretary General made some comments about what was going on between Israel and Hamas, and he talked about looking at the conflict within a broader context. Israel was not happy with his remarks and has said that they are considering denying visas for UN officials following those comments. Can you talk a little bit more about that, what's behind the move, why Israel would have been so upset?
Yeah, Israel and the UN have always had a pretty contentious relationship. Israel, this time, it seems like taking it to the next level. We heard from the UN Secretary General António Guterres talking about how the attack, as horrific as he says it was, and it was horrific against Israel, he said that it didn't happen within a vacuum, saying that it is the result of decades of what he says is the occupation of the Palestinian territories. And he says this is just something that you're bound to see. And so Israel was very upset with that. They called for his resignation. But this is something that we have seen before. And really, without the peace process, you will continue to see violence continue in this region. And I think that's what he was alluding to. But the Israelis definitely not happy with what the Secretary General said.
All right, Ian, thank you very much.